reliant on foreign labour and cheap wages. The impact on some sectors, such as pig farming, is very real, though, with farmers telling Newsnight we are days away from an unprecedented cull caused by a lack of butchers. Here's our economics editor, Ben Chu.
They'll have to be killed on farm. It's just a waste. It's just inhumane. It's just not right.
This is what a pig shed at maximum capacity looks like.
It's a disaster because our business relies on pigs moving to slaughter every week and younger pigs coming through to fill the space. It's a continuous process, and if we can't get rid of pigs, we have to get rid of them ourselves.
The problem is not on the pig farms, like this one in Yorkshire. It's in the animal processing plants. A large majority of the workers in these plants have come from the EU in recent years. But many of those workers have left in the wake of Brexit and the pandemic. Due to that worker drought, pig processing plants have reduced the number of animals they are taking from British farms by around a quarter in the past 3 months. The industry estimates there's now a backlog of animals on farms, which should have gone for processing, of around 100,000. And that's growing by around 12,000 pigs every week. That's why we're hearing estimates of a potential welfare cull of 150,000 animals.
Desperately, we need more butchers into the processing plants now. We can't wait any longer. There's going to be a massive crisis.
So ministers would say, look, the Brexit vote was to stop immigration, it was to stop freedom of movement. We can't do that. What do you say to that?
We voted for Brexit to hopefully support our own industries, but look what's happening. It's absolutely ludicrous.
There's an animal welfare issue here too. If pigs are held too long, they go overweight, and the pens are too small for them.
Let's be wary of sentimentality. These animals aren't pets. They're being reared for food, and they're destined for slaughter one way or another. But also be in no doubt, a welfare cull of potentially tens of thousands of these animals, simply because there aren't enough food processing workers, would be an economic disaster for farmers. It would also, some argue, emphasise the very real cost of the end of free movement and the post-Brexit immigration system.
This isn't just about the pigs already big enough for slaughter. These piglets won't stay tiny forever. The Environment Department says it's keeping the market under close review, working closely with the sector to address the pressures. There are also reports the government might be about to allow emergency visas for meat processing workers. But if there is a relaxation, would it even come soon enough to save Britain's pig farmers from disaster in the coming weeks?
It's going to be quite difficult because it's not necessarily the European workers that will come back. The process takes 8 to 10 weeks from finding someone that qualifies, there's the right person, to get all through the bureaucracy to get them here. So this is not going to solve a problem before Christmas.
There's another issue a potential mass cull raises. It's pretty clear that if we're going to attract more domestic workers into food production, wages and conditions are going to have to improve, and that's going to add cost. So does the manifest fragility of our meat processing supply chain show that we as consumers have been paying too little for our meat for too long?
I think for a long time, a lot of us that have worked in the food industry have felt that food is too cheap and therefore undervalued. And so it's, yes, we have to actually reposition sort of food as something we sort of pay a bit more for out of the weekly wage packet. And if we don't, these things are going to continue because these are ultimately all these problems, working conditions, pay, all these issues, they are driven by the fact that there's not enough sort of food, enough paid for food, and that doesn't filter on down through the supply chain, right the way through to the farmer.
Sadly, it might be too late for many British pig farmers to avoid a cull caused by the exodus of European workers. But hard questions will persist long after that about the true cost of cheap meat.
Ben Chu in Yorkshire there. So let's take a look.